Quite some time ago, I made a video about my experiences reading Webtoons, picking the ones I enjoyed the most, and I really haven't stopped reading them since, so I decided it's a good time to share a few bit-sized, elevator pitch recommendations once again, both of major and smaller titles, starting with Webtoon is actually home to lots of really good horror anthologies, like the super depressing and existential Friday and Forbidden Tales, intimate feeling Red Book, the bit-sized 4-panel horror and dozens more. But there's one specific webtoon that really stands out in this category, Ghost Teller. Group of 6 spirits meet up for a storytelling session, competing for who can deliver the scariest one. That sounds like a really simple concept on paper, and it is really, but Ghost Teller's main strength is in its consistent standard of quality. All of its stories have interesting and well-paced plots finished by amazingly done plot twists. For example, the story of a factory worker slowly losing himself and his sense of identity to his soul-crushing dead-end job, getting closer and closer to becoming less than nothing. Or a story of a desperate streamer willing to do anything to entertain. All of that is backed up by great art, constantly driving the line between gorgeous and horrifying. Ghost Teller also actually doesn't feel overly dark or edgy thanks to the after-story scenes, in which the spirits share their thoughts on what was just told and lighten up the mood a bit, making for an actually really comfy read. Let's talk about another horror anthology. Ghost Teller is intense and horrifying on every single level, but on the other side of the spectrum we have Tales of Greed, which is dumb, over the top and extremely entertaining. The story of a girl with an app that enables her to change people's faces. Oddly sweet and romantic story about a toilet that teleports people, or this. All of its stories are yet again consistently great, and telling you more about them would honestly be robbing you of their bizarre plots and twists. Maybe just the last 2 stories drag out a little bit and the quality of the art isn't as amazing compared to Ghost Teller, but it's still overall a really good read. To lighten up the mood a bit, I present to you the gayest webtoon ever made. Gayer than Exception, gayer than Snailology, gayer than Boyfriends. Haha, that's actually not true, nothing is gayer than Boyfriends, but you get my point. Mage and Demon Queen is actually a bit of a weird, but really well working mix of several different genres and styles. It has a bit of an isekai/MMO fantasy vibe going on with its guilds, stats, levels, spells and dungeons. It has a solid reaction-based comedy supported by great art and evil monsters that are actually all really nice, a la Sleepy Princess in a Demon Castle, and it has a genuinely pretty well done Yuri romance, as this is a mainly story of Mallory, a lesbian mage doing her best to impress her crush, the Demon Queen, ruler over demons and the final boss. The romance is played for laughs and it's over the top, sure, but it's ultimately still really sweet, well developed and enjoyable. I talk about representatives of genres that are quite common on Webtoon, so let's focus on something less easy to find, like shorter and finished stories, which are actually kinda rare on Webtoon. They do exist. Titles like Wolfsbane, Bastard, Sweet Home, Power Ballad or Oscar Zone are amazing. But I want to talk about Metaphorical HER, a story of a poet who just ruined her career because of a drunk rant towards a highly respected critic. Super fun art style based on visual metaphors and playing around with them. Cast of great characters and well done pacing make this into one of the most enjoyable comics I recently read, and I mean it in general. Metaphorical HER actually feels a lot more like a typical Western comic book or a graphic novel instead of a web-based series, one that doesn't waste its time and shows its biggest strengths within its first chapter, never really get letting go afterwards. I honestly wish it was a bit longer, but hey, better ending on a high note than dragging it out. Finally, let's talk about the spiritual sequel to one of the recommendations from my first video. I loved and still love Crawling City, and while its cancellation and replacement with the somewhat similar but wildly different Crawling Dreams still hurts, I don't have to be sad about it anymore. Clinic of Horrors carries the exact same vibe of being cute, funny and endlessly terrifying at the same time. It is that feeling of subtle world building of a place which is something deeply wrong with it, and the ways people living there deal with that fact. All of that supported by a cast of great characters. Mary Vedray just never misses, and this is one of my favorite recent webtoons. So that's it, just a few neat webtoons I think you should read. If you enjoyed this brief video, please consider liking, sharing or even subscribing, it will help this channel a lot. And stay tuned, I'll try to keep on reading and create another list of interesting stuff I found. My name is Bate, thank you for watching, take care and I'll see you soon.